If you're looking for the best Klon clones, here's a list you must see. We made this list based on our personal preference and sorted it based on their features, prices, quality, durability, and reputation of the manufacturers and customer feedback. Also, we've included options for every type of customer. So let's get started. At the first position of our list, we have WAMPLER TUMNUS Deluxe. Where the regular TUMNUS was a no-frills clone, the Deluxe represents Brian Wampler's take on the circuit and is one of the best Klon clones out there. Of most interest are the additions of an active bass and mids control. The shelving treble of the original Klon is still present, but the mids control allows you to have greater control over the mid-range of the pedal. While the Klon's mid-bump is nowhere near as pronounced as that of, say, the Ibanez Tuba Screamer, it's still far from a flat EQ profile. The 3-band arrangement of the TUMNUS allows for far greater tonal flexibility than the original. Moving on to the next at number 2 with Musky Golden Horse. At this price point, it's surprising that the otherwise all-SMD Golden Horse should boast 2 through-hole germanium diodes. Then again, Musky have surprised us with solid budget offerings before. As a result, the Golden Horse has the core sound down. There's a slight difference in timbre with the Golden Horse when in the mix of a larger board. This may be down to the fact that this pedal appears to be true bypass rather than the buffered bypass of the original. It's a marginal difference, though, even if it isn't just our brain playing tricks on us. The number 3 position is held by ROCKETT Archer. ROCKETT Audio Designs worked with Klon designer Bill Finnegan on the first versions of the KTR, the successor to the Centaur, so they have about as direct a link to the original as it's possible to have. For a long time, the ROCKETT Archer was pretty much the only show in town in terms of a mass-produced alternative. This is probably why it crops up on so many pro rigs. Nowadays, there is more choice, but the Archer remains the gold standard replica. There's not much to say about the tone other than that you'd be very hard-pressed to tell it apart from an original. Designed to be toured, its bomb-proof construction means that it'll likely outlive its owner. Next at number 4 we have CERIATONE Horsebreaker. CERIATONE makes a part-perfect clone of the Centaur called the Centauro. It's even housed in a nifty enclosure that's got some of the over-engineered heft of the Centaur to it. However, their Horsebreaker is more interesting. Housed in a double-width enclosure, it has not only a Centaur circuit, but also a clone of the Marshall Bluesbreaker. The Bluesbreaker, along with the Ibanez Tuba Screamer, is famously the basis for the coveted Analogman King of Tone. What you're getting with the Horsebreaker then is 2 classic circuits that stack well with a switch to select the order in which they come. It's cheaper than the Centauro, smaller and as a result potentially a killer addition to a pedal board both in terms of tone and real estate. The Centaur is known for being great at pushing tube amps into saturation. With the Horsebreaker you're getting another gain stage into the bargain. As they say, if less is more, then imagine how much more will be. The number 5 position is held by MXR Sugar Drive. The MXR Sugar Drive not only looks the part, but sounds the part with a solid take on the Klon sound housed in a sleek mini enclosure. As you'd expect from a mass-produced MXR pedal, the internals are fully SMD rather than through-hole, and as a result the diodes appear to be silicon rather than germanium. We're on record saying we don't think that's a very big deal, but if you want a part-for-part authentic clone, then that rules out the Sugar Drive. The number 6 position is dominated by Electro-Harmonix Soul Food. The street price of the Soul Food relative to other newer Klon clones means it's not the bargain it once was, but it still represents pretty good value for money. The enclosure and design may not be the best, but the sound is powerful and articulate. A common complaint of the Soul Food is that it's thinner than the original, but we've not been able to tell a big difference from germanium diode clones. Like most analog pedals, there's a bit of unit-to-unit difference with original Klon Centaurs due to part tolerance and the like. As a result, we do wonder if the greater compression of some germanium diodes might account for different perceived EQ profiles. Moving on to the next at number 7 with Klon KTR. Okay, so putting the KTR on this list is a little disingenuous as it's designed and built by Bill Finnegan, the successor to the Hypebeast Centaur itself. Even so, it is inspired by the Centaur, so we've included it. Released in 2014, these were available through dealers as recently as a few years ago, but that seems to have ended and the pedal's price is steadily climbing on the used market. Meanwhile, though it's not clear how frequently pedals are available, Bill has periodically sold Klon reissues made by him in the original style enclosure on eBay. However, in the event that these do crop up, be prepared to pay an appropriately large sum for one. The number 8 position is held by RYRA the Klone. The RYRA Klone is a straightforward piece of kit. Unlike other pedals which use puns and misdirection to hint at their origins, the Klone comes straight out and says what it is. RYRA is a one-man shop run by Shane Logan, so the spirit of small-run, independent operation continues in their DNA. The circuit is a faithful reproduction of the original down to the ground and sounds very close to it. Although there are much smaller options, it's also quite compact, always a bonus in our book. Next at number 9 we have ANASOUNDS Savage. ANASOUNDS claim that the Savage is inspired by the Centaur rather than being a true clone, but for all the differences, it's still got that sound. Chief among the changes is that the pedal is true bypass, but pop the back off and the Savage has a few more tricks up its sleeve. There's a voicing trim pot as well as 3 different two-way switches. One changes the filter in the feed-forward network, adding more clean bass to the overdrive sound. One switches between silicon diodes and germanium diodes. The final two-way switch is the most interesting. It changes the function of the tone control from being a treble shelf to more of a tilt-style filter, a bit like the sort of thing you'd find on a big muff. All this combines to make a very customizable, modern take on the Centaur, but if you're after the vintage correct sound, it might not be for you. Finally, the number 10 position is dominated by Way Huge Conspiracy Theory. The Conspiracy Theory by Way Huge is yet another alternative to the fabled Klon pedal. Like MXR pedals, Way Huge is another brand from the Jim Dunlop staple of brands. George Trips is the main man behind Way Huge, and he's designed pedals for the likes of Joe Bonamassa, Eddie Van Halen, Eric Johnson and more. If you've ever owned a Way Huge pedal before, you'll know that they're some of the biggest pedals on the market. Given the name and the typical size of Way Huge pedals, you'd probably expect this to be a large pedal. But it isn't. The Conspiracy Theory is part of the Way Huge Small series of smaller format pedals, making it similar in size to the Keeley and Electro Harmonix pedals, which, compared to other pedals on this list, isn't that small at all. As is expected from a company like this, the pedal is well built and sounds great. That's all for today. We upload music product review videos every single day. So don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for the upcoming video notification.